Whew, okay. 100K. I said that whenever I reached it, I would do a face reveal. So here it is. This is my face. This is what I look like right now. If some of you are confused by different details or descriptions you've been given by other YouTubers, other than quarantine obviously being part of it, I also have my hair grown out a little bit different, even from people who saw me last year at AX. And so I'll throw some photos on screen, kind of to give an idea of what I look like in the past. People call me Connor from Detroit Become Human and other things like that. You know what I look like in a lot of regards that you didn't before. So I know this is sappy, but this is just the way I do things around here, and I'd like to just give a little personal rundown of exactly what this means to me, and also a general thank you. So please stick around for this whole video. I know from the start of my channel I always strove to do two things. One was to make content that mattered first to me, and second was to make content that I would enjoy watching on other channels that I couldn't really find. I really love the classic mantra of broadcast yourself that YouTube put out earlier in its inception, and the sort of personal creators that harvested. But those have all pretty much dried up to a large extent these days, and I know that even the content I'm making is far different from something they would, but I wanted to keep that spirit alive with the content that I put on my channel. A big benefit of watching YouTube rather than TV was a feeling where I understood the creator and was able to work through my own problems partially because of them. It felt like whenever they succeeded, I succeeded. And I know that that's like a parasocial relationship or whatever, but those were the kind of relationships that I genuinely valued an absolute ton, especially as someone like me who, growing up, even though I never had issue with friends, I never had friends that really connected with me or that had a lot of very similar interests. So a lot of the times, you know, personalities are enough to build friendships on. I have plenty of really amazing friends in real life, most of which I don't really talk to anymore, but still, I have lots of really good friends in real life, but none of them really were able to relate to the things that I loved, and many of them didn't even know what I liked. One of the things they didn't know the most was that I liked anime. Birthed mainly from me finding an old copy of Yu Yu Hakusho on a dusty shelf in some old bookstore. Coupled with the memory I had of visiting one of my cousins whenever I was little, anime and more broadly Japanese culture was something that I really felt like I had respected, even if it was just on this limited scope of what I understood. I also really liked video games, but I didn't really have any friends who liked that stuff that I did either, outside of the typical AAA stuff. There was another exception though. Whenever I was 13, I started a different YouTube channel, now defunct, obviously, and it was mainly about like Minecraft and HeroScape and things like that were relevant to me whenever I was 13. Him and I created a friendship that has lasted even until today. Despite my parents' probably justified skepticism, I learned that the internet was not only a place that I could find people who talked about things that I liked and personally couldn't find people who also liked it, but it was also a place where I could meet people with similar interests to me that were in my same general location. It showed me exactly what I could do with the internet, and so in a lot of ways, the internet became this fallback place for me whenever I felt like I wasn't able to connect with the people in my real life. Before my senior year of high school, something happened to me that messed with my head, and I didn't tell anybody about it until a couple years later. I tried to cope, and I would sort of get better and then lapse back into this deep depression, but it always kept messing with my head. I felt alone and guilty for doing anything. I felt guilty that my parents would dare support someone like me whenever I was going to college. In my eyes, even though I'd always been a bright kid, I felt like I wasn't destined to go anywhere, like I was a mistake or a mess up, even if I hadn't proven that yet. I felt guilty like I was some sort of tumor on their and other people's lives, and I still do struggle with that to an extent today, but it was much more extreme then, feeling like I was wasting others' time and resources, things they could be using to make their own personal lives better, and I was just a sinkhole for it. I feel a little bit embarrassed now with how extreme I felt, but it was such a heavy, prevailing thing coming from the trauma that I didn't know how to cope with properly. This loneliness, this guilt, and this frustrated directionlessness caused me to start my YouTube channel on a whim, partially as a cry for help. And because the channel ended up being so personal in nature, I set a personal rule for myself not to tell my real-life friends or family the name of my channel until I reached 100,000 subscribers. And I upheld that. So I hope that you can see why this would mean so much to me. Not only is this me essentially taking another layer of my anonymity away in front of you guys, kind of revealing and exposing myself, but it's also exposing myself to so many family and friends who either didn't know I had a YouTube channel at all, or who knew I had a YouTube but didn't know what it was. This is verification and validation for all those people. It's the halting of that separation that I've had for so many years. Through these last 3 years since I made my channel, though, I've managed for the first time in my life to meet people with similar perspectives, interests, and passions. People who love to create things. Other YouTubers, podcasters, digital artists, and streamers. Then more recently through this channel, I've been able to find a genuinely wonderful and supportive group on Twitch that honestly give me that nice sense of community that I felt like I was always lacking in my personal life. A group of people that I can always hit the live button and have to talk to, have there for me, almost as a support group of sorts. I feel a genuine pride and bold confidence toward everything that has slowly been built here. And even if I'm just a random person who you watch and it's not all that serious for you, please try to understand, this is my life. This is everything to me. So I hope dearly that the passion I put in continues to be reflected in the overwhelming passion and support that I've been given by people on this channel. So thanks all the usual suspects, the Patreon and the Twitch supporters that keep me alive and able to create, making and continuing and sustaining this as my job. Also, here's where I'm going to show a couple older videos. So in this older Mudan video here, my voiceover was used for a few seconds of the video, but you can actually see in this frame here a good look at my back and the back of my head. It was kind of a funny little thing because since my name is hiding in public, he literally put me in a public crowd and had me show up in the middle of the frame while I was speaking the lines, and yet nobody knew. It was honestly very genius of Mudan to do. And here is another slight appearance in the end of Sea-Dog's old video. I helped him film last year along with Evan and Mudan. I'm in various places in the background and stuff of this video, but this is the funniest bit in my opinion. Finally, thank you very much if you're one of the ones who made it to the end. For that, I will be trying to reward you here. I will be doing a Facecam live stream later the day that this comes out. And on that live stream, I'm going to be showing my face and doing an AMA, playing guitar, and so I hope you come by, ask me a question, and drop a sub if you'd like, since this is my career. Other than that, I feel obliged to say that we have over 20 unique emotes over there, and that I stream every single day. Currently, we're doing Persona 4 Golden, so please come by. And finally, this has been an absolute terror to film. Thank you all so much again for watching. I don't really know what to do with myself or to thank. All I can say is that I will be continuing to evolve my content, do the best that I can to make things that I want to see and that will inspire passion in everyone else. Thank you all.